Spurs fans finally got to see the front four of Harry Kane, Gareth Bale, Dele and Heung-min Son as Spurs ran out 1-0 winners away to Fulham despite a fairly dodgy VAR decision later on in the game. We're going to be talking about that, talking about the future of that front four, responding to those Jose outers and also looking ahead to Tottenham's game against Crystal Palace this Sunday. I'm Matt Hayes and you're watching the Tottenham Fad Boy podcast. Hello and welcome back to Matt Hayes' Tottenham blog, and I do realise I messed up that intro because I had the thing playing back to me in my own ear and I couldn't hear what I was saying. But look, we're here now, we're underway. Before we do get started, I just want to bring up this super chat by Wayne Bonner. So good evening one and all, hope we're all well. Wayne, thank you for the support, thank you for the super chat. And I'm very good. We'll go into our guests now. First of all, Hollie, back in the podcast again, how are you getting on today?
Yeah, not too bad. Obviously it's great to get another win behind us, and like I said, thanks again for inviting me on.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure to have you back here. Charlie, how are you today?
Yeah, good, Matt. As always, thank you for having me on your channel. Always enjoy these sort of debates and podcasts that you always do here on Matt Hayes' Tottenham blog. And yeah, look, good win today. I'm sure we're going to get a lot into that very soon. But yeah, look, thanks for having me on as always, Matt.
Yeah, same with you, Charlie. It's an absolute pleasure having you on every single time. And David, the Irish Hotspur, filling in a little bit late. Thank you so much for coming here on such short notice, David. How are you getting on?
Yeah, no problem, Matty. Back again. I'm gonna take Troops' quote because he's out of the country now, so it's fine. But no, it's absolutely glorious day to be alive. We're off the back of 3 wins, 9 goals in 3 games, 3 clean sheets. What better time to be a Spurs fan? And thank you so much for having me back on again.
David, you're almost as important to this channel as I am at this stage. Thank you so much for giving up your time again tonight. Thank you to Rune as well, who managed to get the stream to 10 likes before we even got started. Really appreciate that. So welcome, Rune, the regular. We've got Caleb, Flamethrower, and Fen from Everything Football tuning in as well. Thank you to all of you. Make sure to smash a like in the stream, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. For Tottenham watch-alongs, previews, reviews, this Fan Voice podcast, and any type of Spurs content you could want going forward. But look, let's dive straight into the game. Spurs won 1-0 away to Fulham, courtesy of a goal that has gone down as a Tosin Adarabioyo own goal, but as it says in the title, it's a Dele goal for us. We're going to count that in our stats as a Dele goal, even if the Premier League aren't going to do that. Look, let's start with that front four, because, Hollie, we finally got to see Bale, Dele, Son and Kane starting. How excited were you when you, and I saw your tweets, but how excited were you when that front four was announced?
Very excited. I mean, all of us Spurs fans have waited a long time to see it, and it's finally come to the day, and I must say, I was impressed to see it actually happening. I didn't know whether Jose was going to leave it a little bit longer, but to actually see him decide to chuck it against Fulham was great. And obviously, this whole new acronym that is SHAG, I think, is living up to its reputation, because I just went for that one because, that front four against any side in the Prem, you kind of think to yourself, we can do a lot of business here. So hopefully we can see that more often in the future. My choice of words then were lovely, but you know what I mean.
I couldn't have been said better. Yeah, look, it's such a privilege to see that front four. And David, Hollie touched on it there. We've been waiting a long time to actually see this happen. And you know, for Dele, it was his first start since the opening day of the Premier League season. Gareth Bale has really struggled for fitness and form getting into that first team as well. But with these front four firing, and we're now just, I think it's 5 or 6 points off that top four, do you think these 4 players could be what propels us potentially into a top 4 race in the coming weeks?
Yeah, 100%. Look, it's all coming together at perfect timing. You know, it looked like Jose out or people, they were going to get their way with putting pressure on the manager. All of a sudden, Gareth Bale and Dele step up and say, no, I don't think so. Just pipe down, please. We're going to step up to the mark and we're going to start playing some beautiful football. Look, I'll be honest with you. Let's not beat around the bush. They didn't have the best of games yesterday. We all know Gareth Bale's minutes have to be managed, so you didn't get to see the best of Gareth Bale, but full credit to him, because ultimately, with the fact that he played yesterday, that's down to him, because we all know they're going to him and saying, how are you feeling today? Can you play? You know what I mean? Jose putting Dele in. I actually believe that was going to be the case when he didn't play against Burnley. I thought he was being safe for midweek. But even though they didn't have the best of games, Son, Kane and Bale all had a major part in that own goal yesterday. Major part. Gareth Bale got the ball. He used his strength, his explosiveness, his power. Cut inside. A nice great ball to Dele. It looked like Dele miscontrolled it. He done a little step over, played Sonny in. Sonny, great ball across. Dele gets back into the box, which is reminding me of Dele old. What Dele of old used to do is get into the box, make them runs, almost act as like a second striker. He got in there, got his foot on it. Okay, own goal. I still going to say it's Dele Alli's goal. But look, they didn't play the best, but they still contributed. So if that's them at their worst, imagine what they can do at their best. And I definitely think they're going to play a major role in what I think could be our most successful season in 60 years.
Wow, that's a big shout. We'll definitely remember that one as next season rolls along. But Charlie, David touched it there that Dele Alli probably been saved, having been left out of that Burnley game. But for me, the big surprise in there was Gareth Bale, having played against Burnley, that he was trusted in a sense of his fitness to actually get that start. And look, we know Bale and Dele were taken off quite early on in that game, considering all things considered. Were you surprised that Gareth Bale did get the nod?
I'm not sure really, because I was kind of expecting it, and then maybe he doesn't play against Palace because I felt the Fulham game we were going to need a lot of quality to sort of break them down. We were going to need just as much creativity as we can get, really. And I think, judging by the lineup, as you said, with the front four of Bale, Dele, Son, and Kane, we went for sort of creativity to try and open them up. Of course, with Ndombele sitting just behind them as well. So we had the players on the pitch to definitely open them up yesterday, and we did that with the own goals. As David said, nice explosive sort of run from Bale, nice through ball into Son, I'll add as well, people have been complaining about his goal scoring run lately. However, he's sort of adding a new element to his game. I've noticed lately he's adding a very creative element to his game. He's getting a lot of assists. Got another one yesterday, which we're going to count that because we're going to count Dele's goal in this situation. But it was another good assist for Son, and he had a really good game overall. And I think you can't really predict these things with Gareth Bale because of his fitness and stuff. It's really hard to tell, and I was extremely unsure probably before the game whether he was going to start or not, because we know the situation with him. People forget he hasn't actually played football for about a year, sat on the bench in Madrid. So yeah, it was always going to be difficult for him to come in. But look, it wasn't a great performance from Gareth Bale yesterday, but I think that's probably natural considering he did play quite an intense game against Burnley, considering how well he played in that game. So look, Gareth Bale, hopefully maybe we'll see him again against Palace. Not 100% sure if he'll be able to start the 3 in a week, but we'll see. Even if he comes on for the last 30 minutes, I'm sure he can definitely have a positive impact on that game. So yeah, it was a good cameo from him. Against it all started against Man City, actually, when he came on, dribbled past a few players, and he had that shot. And since then, he's really come onto it, and he's got a few goals, as you said, against Wolfsburg or against Burnley. Yesterday, it was a bit off, but that's natural, as I said, with the fitness. So yeah, look, hopefully more minutes to come for him in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and I think it's funny that when he did have that run against Manchester City, there were some Spurs fans who kind of got a bit excited about it, and it was the basis of jokes for opposition fans saying, "Oh yeah, you lost 3-0 to City, but look, Bale dribbled past a few players." But that does seem to have been the beginning of this revival and thing that kind of ignited his form. Which, if people want to make a joke about that, fair enough. We got a 4-time Champions League winner in our team starting to hit a bit of form here. Wayne comes in with another £2 super chat, says scrappy game, but only one team walked away with 3 points, and another £5 from Wayne that goes on to say, and it's all coming together nicely towards the end of the season. We're starting to pick up points while others drop them. Wayne, as always, thank you so much for the support on that one. We have another super chat from Paul, which we'll get to in a second. But Hollie, as Wayne says there, at the end of the day, only one team came out of that game with 3 points, and there have been some people who have been given out about the way we won that game, but at the end of the day, we won the game. Isn't that all that matters, especially towards the business end of the season?
Exactly, and especially in the run of form we've been in recent weeks where we haven't managed to get anything out of the game. To get 3 points is all that matters at the end of the day, and regardless of how it plays, if you come out on top at the end of it, you're not going to remember how the game went in the next couple of weeks, because you'll look back on it and think, that wasn't the game that cost us, that's the game we actually managed to do the business. And again, I think fans coming out a lot over Twitter, and I think it's a general feeling that game was down to luck. But I also think in football, luck works both ways. And I like that, obviously, Paul said about Harry Kane that he looked tired. And I think to myself, Fulham were lucky that Harry Kane wasn't on his own game last night. I think it's also lucky that we didn't get that penalty towards us, if you know what I mean. Like, they didn't manage to get the penalty and convert it. But the thing is, it works in roundabouts, I feel, in football. And I think sometimes we're too, narrow-minded in the sense that we're lucky only because we didn't concede that penalty in that kind of sense. I think it needs to be flipped on its head sometimes. Yeah,
absolutely. I fully agree with you on that one. Paul here says, thought that Harry looked tired last night, and over the last couple of games, sharpness of his finishing has been poor. And David, following on from Paul's point and from Hollie's point, Harry Kane had 2 goals that 2 chances he probably should have put in the back of the net, which he didn't. So yes, Fulham probably should have had a goal, but on another day we would have had another couple of goals there as well. And Paul, thank you for that super chat. I appreciate it. But David, you can't judge every game on what could have happened, because if that's the case, every game you would never be able to celebrate a victory because, what if we hadn't played well? I saw a comment on Twitter saying, what if we wouldn't have won that game if Dele Alli hadn't ran into the box for the goal? So you're saying we wouldn't have won the game if we didn't score the goal that won us the game. You can't look at football like that, can you?
No, you can't. All you can do is, take the results as they come, take it one game at a time. Look, I went into this expecting the confidence to be thrown from Burnley and thumping Fulham. But as you know, Matty, when I went and done my scout report, I kind of changed up my idea because Fulham are a very hard team to break down. Defensively is not the problem. That was their problem at the start of the season. They switched from a back five to a back four. Fulham's problem is taking chances. But at the end of the day, we got the luck. The luck was on our side. But, I firmly believe that luck is earned as well. You don't just sit there and play bad and all this stuff. Luck happens. You have to keep going, keep trying. You know what I mean? Keep doing your job and luck will come. So luck is earned. Sometimes you need luck in football. Some of the best title-winning teams we've ever seen pick up the Premier League. There's times they've often bounced into away games, come out 1-0 winners, and just forgot about it and moved on. They know they haven't been at the best, but if you can win when you're at your worst, well, imagine what you can do when you're at your best. Look, for me, I'm not going to get too much into it because I think we are going to talk about it, but there is an agenda. You know what I mean? These people that are turning their nose up at 3 points, I really don't understand it. So look, a win is a win, no matter how it comes. You would have took this win 2-3 weeks ago when we couldn't buy a win and we were making clown mistakes. People would have sat there and bitch our hand off for this. We also have to remember, we played more games. We played 43 games this year. We played more games than any other team in the top six. So, games come into a point as well. So you're going to get these games where, the midweek games, you rock up, you're going to be slow, lethargic. But if you can get out there with a win, that's what gets you these achievements at the end of the season. Is when you're at your worst, is going there and still getting the job done no matter what. And when you're tired and you're lethargic and it's a midweek game and you're not up for it, which may I add, we didn't win any of our Premier League midweek games this season. We lost every single one of them up until last night. So when you rock up to these games, sometimes you just have to, if you're not at your best, controlling the ball, looking after the ball and stuff like that, sometimes you just have to do the nitty-gritty, rough and tumble and go out and win that Royal Rumble. And that's exactly what we done. It was game over last night, and at the end, we kept the clean sheet, which is improvements from the last game we played against Fulham. The game went the exact same pattern. The only thing that didn't happen in this fixture last night, in the reverse fixture, was that they didn't score. That's the only thing. Mm-hmm. So we've learned our lessons. We've got the 3 points, and we're still chipping away. We're 4 points off top four. We played Palace at the weekend. Other teams up and around there are going to drop points. It's been happening all over the time this season. So we beat Palace. We could come here at the end of in a situation at the end of the weekend where we're talking 1 or 2 points outside top four. So it's
absolutely
crucial.
Yeah, and I think Fenn hits the nail on the head here, says it goes both ways. We got the result, and that's all that matters. Wayne here with another super chat asking David, have you any updates on memberships?
Yeah, memberships. I've just finalised them there this evening. I'll just have to wait for them to be approved and then they'll be out. But the memberships are coming, and also Harris Army and Irish Hotspur hats. I'm in the process of getting them as well. So
I love what I can say. I'll be the first one to sign up to those memberships. Charlie, we'll send this one to you. Bradley says, would you extend Bale's loan deal or would you send him back to Madrid to free up extra money for the summer transfer window? Now, personally, I think that's a decision that does need to be made a little bit later in the season, but given the trajectory, I'm all over the place tonight, that he is on, I think we can say maybe there will be the chance to extend that loan deal. But what would your opinion on this be right now?
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Matt, there. I think it's too early to say at the moment because up until recently, we'd probably say, yeah, we're not going to extend this loan deal and we might as well save a load of money. But now, barring yesterday, you look at it, it's still the jury's still very much out on the whole situation with Bale. So I think, as you said, it's too early to say at the moment. I think give it till the end of the season, and we have seen the reports as well coming out from reliable sources saying that we're not going to be making a decision on that until the end of the season, and that's exactly the right decision in my opinion. I think you got to wait a bit longer, and then hopefully we'll see where we are, and hopefully with Bale we're in a good position to potentially extend his loan, which would, of course, if we do extend his loan, would allow him to see out his contract at Madrid, and then we could potentially sign him as a free agent. Obviously, if things are going well 2 or 3 years down the line, which is obviously a big if. There's loads of if buts and maybes, but look, we'll have to wait and see with this one for Gareth Bale. I think it's undecided, and I think it's a little bit early to say.
Yeah, I think we were just getting vibes of that Liverpool fan outside Anfield talking about Mane being the best player in the world. I think that would be a good clip to roll now. We've Wayne here with another £5. Wayne, honestly, thank you so much. And as Conor Cusack here saying, what is your job, my friend? You must be earning bank. He says, Matt, great video earlier. What are all your thoughts on not releasing players in the international break? It's about time, in my opinion. Before I do get into this, I just want to say there are over 50 people watching right now. So please smash that subscribe button and check out all of our guest channels. All of them will be linked down in the description below. I highly advise you go over and check out all of those channels. But Hollie, we'll come to you first on this one. Just for anyone who may not have heard, according to the Daily Telegraph, Tottenham will not be releasing players for international duty over the end of March, start of April, if they are required to quarantine for 2 weeks when they do get back. Personally, I think that's the right decision. But Hollie, what's your take on that?
I think, yes, I think the fact that I don't think we'll be the only ones coming out saying this. I think there'll be a lot of teams in the Premier that will be saying the same thing. Like we've touched on tonight, we're getting towards the business end of the season. And with players the likes of Kane, maybe Dele leaving, I think it would be a major blow, especially for Dele now trying to pick up his form, and obviously for Kane. I just think it's too much, and I think it's probably the right way to go. Just the fact that they'd be out for that period if they had to quarantine, I don't think it's a no-go, and I don't think it's going to benefit the Premier League in itself. The fact that we've been laid back with obviously COVID and all the things that have come with COVID during the Premier League, to then be another thing that's going to cause something to delay necessarily the Premier League, because I can imagine, like I touched on, I think other teams will be feeling the same kind of vibe. So would that put an impact on the Premier League as a whole? Will the Premier League have to discuss things to maybe delay things again? I think it's too much, and I think Tottenham coming out to be the first team to do it will probably get a bit of backlash because it's Spurs, obviously, and the man at the top doesn't have the great proceedings and things, but I don't think we'll be the first team either.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. And Charlie, Hollie made the point there, Dele Alli. Do you think Ali could be a player who would want to go on international duty? Because we it's no secret he is trying to get back into that European squad or that England squad for the Euros in the summer. So do you think, Charlie, there might be some players that would object to this and would want to go away in that international duty regardless of what it means for quarantining when they get back?
Well, I mean, like, it obviously all depends if Dele Alli, if he's called up to the England squad, of course, because he hasn't been called up for a while, and I think I know recently he's been come on a bit, but I don't think it's probably enough yet to warrant a place in the England squad, considering the other talent they have there. You look at the likes of Foden, Mount, all these guys in there. I'm not sure if Dele Alli would be considered just yet, but at the end of the day, if he continues the form he's on, starting to come into from now till the end of the season, and you never know, because there really could be, because we know what Dele can do on his day, and there really could be a place for him in that England squad if he can keep this up. But in terms of the international break, I think it's an absolute joke, the fact that these have been allowed to go on for this whole season, because with the season starting later, with games being played every 2 to 3 days and the COVID situation, like they're basically making players mix from all different clubs, which I think is just completely wrong. And I don't get why they've not just kept it, but they've increased the amount of matches. They're adding all these unnecessary friendlies in there and these sort of Nations League games, which is just, for me, the most pointless tournament like I've ever seen, because it's just glorified friendlies in my opinion. But look, I'm happy with the reports that are coming out that we are going to stop our players from going, because I think it's the best thing to do. As soon as I saw the likes of Klopp and Tuchel coming out and saying it, I was like, yeah, Spurs have to do this. I was really thinking that at the time. And luckily, we've seen the reports from reliable sources saying that it looks like we will be doing that. So, yeah, I think it's the right thing to do. I'm hoping more clubs do it as well, because it will definitely suit everyone and all the players and stuff, to be honest. But look, in answer to your question, maybe if Dele Alli was called up, he might want to go on international duty if he was called up. But I'm not sure just yet if he would be considered for England yet. But you never know. If he continues from now till the end of the season, come the summer in the Euros, you never know. He could be in for a shout for that. Yeah,
I fully agree on that one. And I think it would be harsh to look at any player who is trying to prioritise maybe a career with their national team and kind of make them prioritise that over a team who did try and sell them in the last January transfer window. You know, it would be a bit kind of self-contradictory, I suppose. We got a super chat here from Lucy Hayes, actually my sister who's watching with my gran at the moment. So if we can all just wave to my gran just really quickly, she'd love it. Thanks for that. Look, David, the agenda. I know you have a lot to say about this, and those who are calling for Jose to go no matter what our results in our games are. Do you want to have your little rant?
Yeah, look, it's obscene. Look, you know, it's no surprise as soon as we were on top of the league, as soon as things started turning bad, you know, there was these people throwing comments out there, you know, like, oh, Jose's bad for the club, it's Jose turning toxic. They've put no context behind what they're like, you know, basically players' injuries and the fact that the gap between our backup 11 and our starting 11, it's such a big drop in quality that when you have injuries and you're having to play with the likes of Ben Davies, Harry Winks, you know, Matt Doherty, that you get the drop off in standards. You can't keep control of the ball because they're such clumsy players. You know, there's no context behind it. It's all just Jose this, Jose that. You know, apparently a week and a half ago, you know, he lost the dressing room and Nagelsmann was on his way in. You know, apparently it's just obscene. You know, then you see comments like last night, you know, you all realise this isn't the way we want to win. I'd rather lose playing the Tottenham way, and you know what I mean? Oh, we got lucky, and who gives a shit? Celebrate the 3 points. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. You know, you like, we beat Wolfsburg 4-0. Quiet. Twitter was you know, it was actually peaceful. You know, you beat Burnley Sunday. Again, another peaceful night. Music to my ears. Brilliant. We beat Fulham 1-0. We played bad because obviously, you know, in football you can't play and beat teams 4-0 every game. Straight away, boom, straight on it. They couldn't wait. As soon as the final whistle went, straight on it. Oh, we're so lucky. Oh, is this the way y'all want to win? And do you know what? Piss off. I've had enough. You know, just at the end of the day, like, put some context behind what you're saying. Like, the reason why we played bad last night, we were playing with Ben Davies, Doherty at fullback. Can't play properly. You know what I mean? Fullbacks are so integral to the modern game of football. It's crucial to Pep Guardiola win the league. That's why the first thing he went and done is spent 200 million on fullbacks. Jurgen Klopp. It's the same reason why they won the league. When you're playing with Ben Davies and Doherty players, you can't take the ball under pressure. You know, they take 4 or 5 touches to take the ball down, get it under control, and when they go to pass it, they absolutely crap the pants and give it straight to a player of the opposition. You know, you can't play the way you want to play, but there's no context behind it. It's just throwing out these statements, and it's an agenda. Like, I've just had enough of it. I really have had enough of it. It's just stop and get behind the team, get behind the manager. The thing is, you know, Winks and Pochettino done that when we played Fulham last time. About the 1-0, Winks scored a header at the very end. People were out their seats. They were jumping around, full of joy. You know what I mean? Two of their favourite people, Pochettino and Harry Winks. You know, combined, we do Fulham. We turned up there last night with Jose Mourinho. We turned them over 1-0. And, you know, all of a sudden it's the worst result in the world. We can't take it. This is how much of an agenda it is. Half of our fan base right now are actually PSG fans. I don't know whether you know this. But, you know, every time PSG are playing now, they're PSG fans. You know, you're just a Pochettino fan. I get it. You love the man. But, you know, concentrate on your club. Just let Poch go. Let Poch go. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, he was a great manager. The board failed him. But ultimately, we didn't win anything. You know what I mean? And then you have this crap of, oh, well, I don't want to hear about his CV. Don't tell me about his CV. I couldn't care about the past. You know, ridiculous statement, because I'm pretty sure when you apply for a job, just as a normal person, they're not going to say, oh, well, look, you know, you've 2 armed robbery charges there and an assault charge. But, you know, you're the right man to work on my tail because we're not going to worry about your CV. Don't worry about your past. You can have the job. You know what I mean? Ultimately, you're employed on your CV and your past history. So don't tell me your CV doesn't matter and it's agenda. It's an agenda. Just stop it. Give it over now because, you know, with these last results are actually brilliant for us because it's shown the people that have the agenda, really. That's all I can say.
Thank you. You've hit the nail on the head with almost every comment you said there, David. Really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, we've Wayne coming in. Charges, but we don't care about your past, you know.
We've Wayne here with another couple of super chats. Says send Winks in international duty, which I think a lot of us may agree with. And he also says 3 points is 3 points. Yeah. Scrappy or not, I'll take it. Wayne, can't thank you enough for those super chats and the support in the channel. Jordan Stevens as well coming in with £5 says on yesterday's win, it's 3 points. Just be grateful, take it and move on. Yes, the performance was shocking, but don't let it fester like a bad smell. Fully agree with you on that one. As well, Jordan. And speaking of moving on, it is Crystal Palace on Sunday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I suppose a similar fixture to the one against Fulham in that when we played them in the reverse fixture, we took a 1-0 lead, parked the bus, conceded a late goal, and ended up dropping 2 points in that one. But Hollie, would you be optimistic that Sunday is one where we can comfortably get the 3 points?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously the run of form we're having at the minute, obviously, besides like the end of the game yesterday, I feel like we're on to something. I feel like, yes, we didn't concede yesterday, and the plus that we're just picking up momentum now. We've got the likes of Bale hitting form. We've got the likes of Dele hopefully showing himself again. So I think going into Sunday, we've all got to be optimistic. I think it's just the way to look at things now. Coming towards the end of the season, we've got a lot of things riding on things. And like David's pointed out already tonight, there's teams above us dropping points. So why not go out there and give it a game and go and get these 3 points? So yeah, I'm very optimistic.
Charlie, what are your thoughts ahead of the London derby clash on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I'm confident for that game. Again, the Fulham game, as I said, it was. I said off air. I think we played well in the first half in that game, and I think we've got to look at that. And look, we know what happened in the second half. It was that was down to the fullbacks, as David said. I saw as soon as the lineup came out, I was concerned already because and that was our biggest problem. The fullbacks, Davies and Doherty, should not have been playing because they weren't giving us an outball. But look, at the end of the day, we got through the game. We escaped with a 1-0 win. And we did that with resting the likes of Reguilon and Aurier at the same time. So we'll have them fresh for Sunday, which is even better that we managed to get through that game with them without them. So, yeah, look, Palace on Sunday will be a game where Palace, they're looking like they're going to have Zaha back, which he's always a tricky customer to deal with. But look, I'm confident for this game. I think being at home as well, and as Matt said, another team which we threw away stupid points against earlier on in the season. So look, hopefully this time we just have fire in our belly for some revenge after the last 2 games against Palace, both being draws. The one at the end of last season and the one this season, of course. So yeah, look, we'll have Aurier and Reguilon back in the team, which I think will definitely help us. And attacking wise, in particular, will get us probably get us a couple more goals. I really do believe that because we saw against Burnley the impact they can have on the team, and we're going to need them for this game against Palace. So yeah, I am confident for this game, and it's so important we win because just like the Burnley game, I said after that, it means nothing if we don't beat Fulham. Same with this game. Those 2 games mean nothing if we don't beat Palace. So we have to beat Palace and just continue momentum because we really need to get the points. We really do need the points. If you look at the table, we actually need the points more than Palace do. And that might be a strange thing to say because normally you consider lower teams sort of battling for relegation. But Palace, they're pretty much safe, to be honest. They're comfortably mid-table like they normally are, Palace. So I think we actually need the points more than they do. So, yeah, we really have to go into this game with hunger and we should be ready to go. And look, if we get an early goal and we don't change the centre-back pairing, like, for example, I hope that he doesn't bring Eric. I hope that he doesn't bring Eric Dyer back in. And if we keep the same Toby and Sanchez, look, with Sanchez, he had a good game against Fulham, but there was still that one moment in there which nearly cost us. Luckily, it was a handball, but we have to keep Toby in there. Anyone alongside Toby in our team looks better than they do without him. So, look, we have to keep Toby in there. And look, if we get an early goal, maybe a second early goal as well, like we did against Burnley, and as long as we can keep the likes of Zaha and Eze quiet, I think we should go on and win this game, hopefully. So, yeah, I'm pretty confident for this game. Hopefully, the clean sheets as well will give us confidence. 2 in a row, 2 wins in a row will give us more confidence as well. So, yeah, I'm pretty confident for this game, to be honest.
I think that is the best thing that we can really say in this, and it is a feeling that is kind of creeping back into the Tottenham fan base ahead of games, is that confidence that we can actually go in and get a result, because there was a period there kind of around Christmas and then moving into January where whatever team we played against, there was a part to be thinking it's going to be 1-1, isn't it? You know, we could have played, even when we played Sheffield United, I know of course we went on to beat them, but there was always that feeling that, you know, something would go kind of wrong and it would end up as a 1-1 draw. Fen says this is the point in the first half of the season where we got so many 1-1 draws, so let's put it right and batter anyone in our path. And I feel that is kind of the mentality that Jose is starting to instill in those players, that we're not going to go out to just win games for the 3 points. We do want to go out and actually get a lot more than that. Now, it didn't work exactly well against Fulham last night, but going into Palace back at home, I think that could be something we do try and utilise in this game. But David, one of the key things that we're starting to see maybe that's improving our defence is that for the first time there's a slight bit of consistency, and 2 centre-backs starting the same 2 games in a row. It's not the definition of consistent, but in terms of what Spurs have been doing this season, it's a bit more consistent than what we're used to seeing. So do you think Toby and Sanchez could be our defensive solution up until the summer, when maybe then we can bring in a centre-back, or do you still think there needs to be some testing done there to see who is actually best in beside Toby?
No, look, my things are going well. I think it's going to be a case of, as long as Sanchez keeps playing well and doesn't put a foot wrong, I think you keep playing him. I think, you know, if he's coming to a point where he's playing 2 or 3 games and made mistakes, you're going to have to take him back out. I think it's just a case of just whoever's on form play beside Toby, get that until the end of the season, and then we need 2 centre-backs, because, you know, for me, you can either sell one of Sanchez and Dyer. You're going to need Toby's replacement as well, so we're definitely going to need two centre-backs in the summer. But no, look, Sanchez, I've been hugely critical of him, rightly so. You know, especially when you're looking at him against Wickham and the ball bobbles on his head 4 times before he even knows where it is. You know, so it's rightly deserved in my opinion. But look, hopefully he can turn things around and just give us a solid performance to the end of the season. Because look, I'm sure, you know, that they don't want us criticising them, because at the end of the day, pride comes into it as well. As a professional athlete at that level, you know, you have a lot of self-pride, so that has to come into it at some stage, where you don't want to be clipped up by Roy Keane on Sky Sports every week making mistakes. You know what I mean? Because, you know, the whole world tunes in and watches it. So yeah, no, it's just about being consistent now, and whoever's on form playing beside Toby.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Jordan says, we'll be interested to know your thoughts on Doherty. Was pretty excited when he joined. He was an integral part of the Wolves squad, apart from different playing style. Not sure what it could be. For me, Jordan, I think he just, that entire Fulham or Wolves team, I think, overperformed in the last couple of years. And it's partly because a lot of the big six didn't perform up to their level. There was teams dropping in and out of European races and things like that. I think we're seeing that by the general decline in the form of Wolves players recently, but the difference in style of play does as well play a part. And look, me and David as Irish fans would love to see it work out for Matt Doherty at Spurs, but with every game that passes, I just don't feel as though that is something we're going to see. Bradley says, Matt, are Spurs in advanced talks with Max Aarons? As far as I know, the only team actually looking to get a deal done for Max Aarons from an English side is Everton, who are actually working on trying to get a deal done there. It's according to Fabrizio Romano, and of course the interest from Bayern Munich, which has been there for quite a while now. So if I were to guess if we will see Max Aarons in a Spurs jersey anytime soon, I don't think it would happen, but of course anything is possible. Richard Colson Baker says, Dennis Serkin and Eberechi Eze were my schoolmates. Well, that's a pretty good claim to fame. If Dennis Serkin ever wants to do a Spurs interview, send him my way. Inspector E says, I think he's a good right back, just doesn't have him as a top target because of his height. And look, David, you're a big fan of Max Aarons. Do you think his height is something that will be concerning? I know we were talking yesterday as well about his lack of goal contributions in the Championship this season. Do you have concerns like that?
No, Lamptey's height isn't a concern, so I don't understand why Max Aarons' height would be a concern. As a fullback, it's just about having the engine to get up and down, having positional awareness. You know what I mean? Being good on the ball. That's what a modern day fullback is about. You don't need height. Aurier's not the biggest, but he can still get in there and win headers if you're in the right position and your anticipation is good. You don't need the height. Toby's not the biggest of centre halves, but his anticipation, his awareness, and always being in the right place digs him out. So I don't understand why his height would be concerned.
Yeah, just on that point of Tariq Lamptey, actually an interesting stat. When he got sent off earlier in the season, he became the shortest ever player to be sent off in a Premier League game. That record was beaten 2 months later by Ryan Fraser. So look, he's not exactly tall. Fenn says, any thoughts on Skip with his rising form with Norwich? There was actually reports that Spurs were very, very close to recalling Oliver Skip in the January transfer window, but thought it was best to leave him down at Norwich to continue his development. But Hollie, how excited are you about getting Oliver Skip back into the Spurs setup?
So excited. I'm just trying not to get my hopes up too much, because obviously the man behind me staring at everyone hasn't performed very well in recent months. So I'm trying not to get myself too excited about him. But obviously the fact that he'd just be a class rotational player for Højbjerg, and I feel like in recent weeks, obviously with Højbjerg, we've seen a bit of a dip in the fact that I think he's just been played so much, and it'd be so nice to see that rotation in the squad. And I think the fact that he's bossing it at Norwich, because he is, we know it's only Norwich, we know it's in the Championship, but to have such a flying form at the moment, being able to do it week in, week out, gives me a lot of hope for the future. So yeah, I can't wait to have him back in the Spurs shirt.
Are you not upset that he's going to replace your Bay Harry Winks in the squad?
To be honest with you, Winks is kind of like the X now. I feel like booting him across the room every single time I see him play. So I'm not fussed at all.
Good.
I'll be honest.
You've woke up. You've come to the bright side.
I've seen the light.
Yeah.
I've seen the light.
I'll be honest, David is very unpredictable, but I never thought I'd hear him use the word Bay on any of these live streams, but here we are. David, look, Oliver Skip isn't the only player that Spurs have out on loan who's doing well at the moment. Troy Parrott down at Ipswich is getting a lot of praise from their current caretaker manager, Matt Gill. You have, of course, Ryan Sessegnon playing with Hoffenheim over in Germany, and a few other names scattered around the place as well. There's a lot to add to this team next season, on top of the business we should do in the summer. So do you think there will be a natural improvement from Spurs going into the 21-22 season?
Yeah, 100%, because look, when Regner won't be fit, you're going to have Sessegnon to throw in there. At least the kid can pass a football. You know what I mean? He's having a good spell at Hoffenheim, so hopefully he can come back to Tottenham and replicate that. He'll also be a big asset to rotate with Son. When Son's out, he can play in Son's position as well. Troy Parrott, I'm a bit dubious on this one. I just questioned, he has all the talent in the world, but for me, I don't know if his dedication to football is correct. And without that, I don't think he's going to go too far. And that worries me. That worries me. I hope it clicks before it's too late. Is he going to be the answer to be the backup to Kane next season when he's back? No, definitely don't think so. I think Dane Scarlett has more than him. Look, Dane Scarlett isn't the biggest neither is Troy Parrott, but Troy Parrott was always in a position that he never really, when you did see glimpses of him, he wasn't really threatening. But when Dane Scarlett's come off the bench and he's only had a couple of minutes, you look at his runs. They're so clever that he's looked threatening. If both times, if he had a better touch, he would have had a goal. Do you know what I mean? So when you look at that, Carlos Vinicius, we're not going to pay the money for him either, I don't think. So we're going to have to invest in a striker. So that's an area that worries me. Skip coming in for Winks, brilliant. Can't complain there. It's what we want. Look, there are players that can definitely come in and improve it. It'll save us some money in the long run. The players that will also help us with this English quota. Do you know the made up story that was put about? So we couldn't sign players in January because they had to be English, and we can't afford English because they cost too much, even though they loaned out English players all throughout the summer and created it themselves. But anyway, so for me, it's perfect. Maybe Jose took the sacrifice this season. Loan them out, go out there, get first team football in. Everyone come back raring to go next summer. We're going to get additional signings in, and we're going to push Tottenham Hotspur as far as we can go and see what we can do. And I hope that's the case. Don't think so, because I don't trust the sport and I hate them. But I always try to be optimistic.
Yeah, look, for all your sins, you are one of the most optimistic Spurs fans I've ever met. But on the board, Wayne, with another super chat, Wayne, you're an absolute legend, says, do you think Levy and the board will back Jose properly in the summer, or if they'll stick to their potential project, which doesn't work? Charlie, we have to give this one to you.
They better bloody back Jose, otherwise, whoever we have in charge, they have to back. It's as simple as that. At the end of the day, you can have any manager, and this is what I say to all the Jose out people, you can have any manager, but they can't sort out this team in terms of the reason why we tied in the second half yesterday was because of something we've seen under Pochettino for probably the last year of Pochettino, to be honest, when we weren't up to the pressing game. We had certain players in that team, the likes of Davies, Dyer, Sissoko, Winks, these guys who they weren't up to the tactics. And we saw in the first half, the reason we played well in that first half was because we were pressing. But the thing is, we got tired quickly. And that's because you look at the likes of Dele, Ali, Bale. These guys, because of their fitness, they're not up to the pressing game. And that's why I thought we stopped pressing in that second half. So that's why we need we're in a bit of transition at the moment where we're trying to refresh the squad at the moment. We did some of it in the summer, and we're going to have to do a lot more of it as well next summer, because we need not just to bring in players, we need a massive clear out. And I'll still stand by what I said. We need a massive clear out. And as David said, the likes of Skip coming back, listen, I'm so excited for Skip. I really am. From what I've seen of him this season, he's an absolute baller. He really is. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him. Honestly, his passing range, I think, exactly. And his passing range is actually something which I think has gone under the radar, because I've seen a few of his passing. I've been very impressed with his long balls from deep. You look at his strength, his ability to break up play. He's a very physical player, Skip. He's really developing into that. He's bulked up a lot. So at least, look, I don't want to sound sort of like, I don't know what the word is, but he'll be like a new signing. He really will be, Skip. And I'm really looking forward to Sessegnon as well. Another one there. I think he comes in and instantly replaces Davies. He's another one that needs to go, Davies. So luckily we'll have Sessegnon next season, who, when Reguilon can't play, he can step in and hopefully give us an attacking threat, because that's what he has been doing this season for Hoffenheim. So yeah, look, we're gonna need a clear out in the summer as well as investment, and hopefully if we can sell a number of players, it will give us more funds to go and reinvest, hopefully. But at the end of the day, as I said, whether it's Jose or not in the summer, whoever the manager is, they have to be backed. It's as simple as that. And this is why I've had a problem with this board for so long. And this is why we've only won one League Cup in 20 years, because managers don't get back to the full extent. They're expected to sort of get work magic out of Deadwood. And at the end of the day, you can't polish a turd. It's that simple. And I want to just talk about this comment here as well. I thought, Matt, you were probably going to get onto it as well, but that's another player here, Dyer. And you were talking about Max Aarons in terms of his height thing. Look, I think he's a decent player, Max Aarons. I think I probably prefer Lamptey, just about. I'm not sure if there's much in it, but I probably prefer Lamptey because I feel he's done more in the Premier League for Brighton than Aarons did for Norwich last time. But height, for me, if you can jump, I don't think height... Look, it depends what position you are, but at fullback, I think as long as you can jump, it's not too much of a problem at fullback. But you look at someone like Eric Dyer, it's a topic which I don't think is talked about in detail enough. Like, I think I've seen fans talk about it, but I don't think it's talked about enough in detail. The fact that whenever Dyer's playing, he's got all the physicality and height you'd want in a centre-back. But the problem is he can't jump, and I really don't understand why that is. So I'm sorry, I know it's your stream, Matt. I just want to ask you this as well. What do you think the reason is that? Dyer, he just doesn't jump for anything. What is the reason there, do you think?
I don't think it can come down to anything other than incompetence. And thank you, Jordan, for the super chat. And look, like, it was the reverse fixture against Fulham. Ivan Cavallero jumped Eric Dyer and scored the header, which was an equaliser. Dyer, on paper, he's that perfect player to play in our system, and that he should be able to deal with every single ball that comes into the box. He's tall, he's big, he's physical. He should be good in the air, but he's just not. And I don't know what it is. It's almost like kind of the reverse of Harry Maguire and his inability to deal with crosses on the ground. It's a really weird kind of gap in his footballing knowledge, his footballing ability, and it absolutely baffles me. I don't know what it is, but it could just be sheer incompetence. And a lot of people would argue he's more of a midfielder than he is a defender. Now, personally, I don't think he's good enough in either position, but I suppose as a defensive midfielder, if that is the position he was playing growing up, he played a lot as a right back for Sporting Lisbon. Maybe his aerial attributes just were never developed to the level that they should have, which, if he is going to be the centre back of a team who were apparently in a title race, I think we're in big trouble there. Wayne with another couple of super chats says Scarlett seems to have more passion than Parrott, and Davis and Winks simply haven't pushed on. Two big concerns there. As Cody says, 89 watching now, 41 likes. Hit the like button; it's free. Please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and check out all of our guest channels in the link below in the description. Dark Sung G says, does anyone know how Harvey White is doing on loan? He's doing really well at Portsmouth. He's starting to get in that team a bit more consistently. He scored his first professional goal for them a couple of weeks back, and he is proven to be a very good force in the middle of the park for them. But look, before we go, I just want to get one last word from all of you. Hollie, have your expectations for the season changed in the last couple of weeks? And if so, what are they now?
They have, because I thought a couple of weeks ago the hope for top four was out the window. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's still going to be a massive push. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but the fact that teams around us are now dropping points, the likes of Leicester are doing so. Obviously, the Brendan Rodgers things have gone quiet on the timeline in recent weeks. But that's the kind of thing for me. I think now with the likes of Bale and Dele coming back to form, I know I keep talking about it, but it's all kind of gelling together at the right time. And just when I lost hope, it's turning around again. So for me, I think top four will be a big push, but it's not impossible anymore. Not that it never was, but I feel like it's more doable now. And I think we just need to push on, and a win against Palace at the weekend will secure my hopes in that.
Excellent. I think, again, the confidence is lovely to hear. Charlie, top four on the cards?
Yeah, I think as long as we can keep the consistency, I think, like you saw the way this league's going this season, everything can change very quickly. And I think, look, if we win against Palace, if we win against Palace, I think, because obviously you got Man United playing Man City, you got Chelsea and Everton playing each other. Come the end of the weekend, if we can beat Palace, we could very well be only 2 or 3 points off the top four with a game in hand. And it just shows you how quickly the season can change. But at the end of the day, look, we have to beat Palace at the end of the day. That's the big if in this whole situation. So, look, I think top four, look, it's still going to be difficult. I do believe that. I'm not sure. I'm still very undecided whether our defence is anywhere near good enough to sort of get us through this season consistently in the league. But look, we've done it for 2 games in a row. So hopefully we can build momentum, and that will definitely benefit us for sure. But look, in terms of expectations for the season, I think you look at Europa League, I think that's definitely something we have to be going for to try and win that trophy. It's definitely the main one for us because it obviously gets you Champions League and it's a trophy. Because people say like Carabao Cup, I think the Carabao Cup and like 6th, I don't think that's good enough whatsoever. Because at the end of the day, we need trophies and Champions League. That's how I see it. We need Champions League to get the revenue in and attract better players, and we need trophies to build our pedigree as a club and get back to winning ways, which we haven't done for a long time. So yeah, look, for me, the main focus has to be trying to get back in that top four and Europa League, and we have to try and go for both of them. And of course, we got the Carabao Cup final as well, which will be extremely difficult. As we know, against an extremely exceptional Manchester City side. So, yeah, look, we have to go for Europa League. We really do. That's something that I just desperately want to see us win, because we know what it can bring to the club if we can win that. Obviously, silverware and Champions League, like, it's exactly what we want. So, yeah, look, for me, expectations, hopefully try and get him back in that top four and hopefully really go far in Europa League this year.
Yeah, again, absolutely love that. Cody Mack here says, excellent discussion. Well done, everyone. Thanks for that, Cody. Harry Wingstall stole the show, though. I think it always does when Hollie's on. Thank you for that comment, Cody. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in as well. Make sure to smash that like button if you enjoy the stream. Make sure to hit the subscribe button as well. Before we do go, let's get a quick word from all of you. Hollie, where can we find you on YouTube?
Yes, you just find me at my name. I say it every time. I mean, it's Hollie Agombar, but it's so confusing to spell my surname. But literally, you can find me anywhere. There we go. Perfect. So just find me at Hollie Agombar, and I just kind of do live match reactions after every game. So, but thanks again, Matt, for inviting me on. I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks for coming, Hollie. Really appreciate your time. And everyone, as I said, make sure to go over and check out Hollie's channel. David, I'm sure everybody knows you at this stage, but let's give you the time.
Yeah, no, it's the Irish Hotspur. But everyone, look, show Charlie, Hollie, and Matty Hayes the same love. Thanks for having me on, Matty. And thanks for tuning in. The Matt Pack, we love you.
Matt Pack, I may keep that one. Charlie, where can we find you on YouTube and or Twitter?
Yeah, so YouTube, obviously, CharlieTHFC. At the moment, I'm not uploading for various reasons, and I might potentially be getting a new page due to some reasons. So we'll have to wait and see what happens soon, but hopefully I'll be back uploading very soon. Hopefully on my current channel, but if not, maybe a new page I'll have, and hopefully I can grow that one quickly. So yeah, look, CharlieTHFC at the moment, and on Twitter, CharlieTHFC1 with an end of that. So yeah, if you want to go and if you wish to find me and follow me on any platform, yeah, feel free, and that's where you can find me.
100%. Make sure to head over and check all of their YouTube channels out. Again, as I said, and as it says there in the bottom of the screen, links for every single one of them will be in the description below, and I implore you to go over and hit that subscribe button for all three of them. You know what you're getting here on my channel: live watch-alongs, previews, reviews, the Tottenham Fan Voice podcast, any content you could want from a Spurs channel. Make sure to smash that subscribe button. If you do want access to exclusive content, exclusive call-in shows, and new emojis, which have been now given out to channel members, make sure to hit that join button down below, and everything will be explained for you there. We'll be back on Sunday with a live watch-along for the game against Crystal Palace. Unfortunately, I will be working, so it'll be David and Marcella running that one, as they always do a better job than me anyway. So make sure to tune in for that one on Sunday. And Hollie, I assume, will be doing a live show after the game as well, so make sure you go over and check that one out. To everyone who has tuned in over the last, how long we've been going, nearly 50 minutes, thanks so much for watching.